Good morning, everybody. Paul, we are live. You can start whenever you are ready.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's session brought to you guys by STEM Lockdown Digital Classroom. Today's lesson will be an English First Additional Language lesson to grade 10 learners, and our topic for today is writing and presenting, writing and email. Welcome to everyone. Hello, Lionheart. Hello, Sarah. I'm sure more learners will be joining us as we move right along, but welcome to today's lesson. I am your favorite presenter, Miss Pearl Langa, and I am teaching you English. I have been teaching you guys English, and today we are doing an email, like I told you guys before. I am going to be teaching you guys how to write an email, and I'm going to have different takes on how we do this today. So it's a very exciting lesson, and I hope everyone that is here today is excited about today's lesson because I know I am excited. Just a quick shout out to every one of you guys for being consistent, for coming to class every day. I really appreciate your participation. You guys are amazing. So, a very big shout out to everyone. Right, let's quickly recap on yesterday's work. Yesterday, we did an argumentative essay, and we said that in an argumentative essay, the writer expresses his or her own opinion or viewpoints on a topic. The purpose of the essay is to try to convince or persuade the reader to agree with the opinion. We also state that an argumentative essay is subjective, which means it's solely based on your opinions. However, it's always important to make sure that you research your topic before writing the essay. And I know a lot of you guys enjoyed yesterday's lesson and you're really, really excited about writing your introductions, your body, and your conclusion. And I see Lionheart is excited about today's lesson as well. You're going to enjoy it, I promise. Right. At the end of today's lesson, you will know what an email is. You will know the purpose of writing an email. You will know how to write an email. You will know the language used when writing an email. You will know the format followed when writing an email. Are you guys ready for today? Let's get to it. Before we start, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Department of Basic Education. We're going to be using this text, and this text is guideline for teaching and writing essays and transitional text. It's for grades 10 all the way up to 12. Right, let's get into it. What is an email? Who can tell me what an email is without reading the definition on the screen? Anyone? What is an email? And I know I always say at the end of the lesson, please email me, whatever, but what is an email? Okay, let me help you guys out. Okay. In this world of technology, okay, Lionheart, I understand. In this world of technology, electronic communication is fast replacing the traditional letter writing of the past. Okay, so Tino says that an email is a form of communication, which is very, very good. And Lindela says it's the original WhatsApp. We can say that. Afternoon, Nelly, welcome. We can say it's the original WhatsApp because I think the quickest form of communication started with an email right after the letter. Hello to everyone who's coming in just now. So we've done letters last week, and last week we did a formal letter and we did a friendly letter. Those are traditional letters. Okay. And the reason why we still teach you traditional letters is because you need to know the scale in order for you to use it in the real world. But also in the real world, we do write emails. I think I write about 4 or 5 emails a day, and I've had learners write emails to me. So an email is short for electronic mail. Okay, it's not a traditional mail. Right, it is posted from one computer to the other with the support of the internet. So basically, you cannot send an email if you don't have internet connectivity. In order for you to send an email, you need to have internet connectivity, right? As interesting as all of these things about emails may sound, there is a specific format and structure that is followed when you are writing an email, right? And usually, when people write emails, they use mostly, and they could be more, but mostly it's these two service providers. Um, Lionheart, we didn't write emails in the past. In the past, we wrote letters. Okay. But now it's a new way of communicating. It's a new way of writing a letter. And hence, that's why we have electronic mail. So you cannot write an email without the internet. You would need a computer, you would need the internet. However, and I'm going to explain this to you guys now, you could get a question in the exam requiring you to write an email. So I am going to show you exactly how you write down an email on paper to replicate an email that can be written online. Okay. And when you write online, we usually use these two service providers. The first one is Gmail, the red and white envelope. A lot of people use Gmail to send emails. And if you don't prefer Gmail, a lot of people use Yahoo. And there are many more other platforms people use in order to write emails. And today I'm going to show you using a platform. So I hope you guys are excited for that. But before we move on to writing an electronic mail, let's look at actually writing an email on paper, right? The following component characterize an email. Okay, so when you're writing it on paper, the following components are important. The recipient's address is always important because you need to know exactly who you are sending the letter to, and you need to know the email address for this purpose. Another thing is the carbon copy, CC. So if you are sending someone an email, you can always copy someone onto that email. But I'll give you details as we move along just now. Another important component is the subject. And we spoke a lot about the subject last week when we were doing the formal letter. Remember, a subject gives the receiver an indication as to what the email is about. Okay, Lionheart, you're confused. What is confusing you? So I can help you. It's okay, Dero. Lionheart, what's confusing you, my dear? I don't want to move on too quickly and have people left behind. So I want to explain as we move along today, because today it's not a full jam-packed lesson. We do have a lot of time to explain and answer questions. So what's your question, Lionheart? Okay, so with your syllabus, with the English First Additional Language syllabus, right? You are given a lot of writing genres. And I understand your question. What do I mean by writing an email on paper? When you are given specific writing genres, an email is part of those genres, right? So it's not always, actually, you will hardly ever come across this. When you are required to write an email, you will not be required to write the email using a computer or the internet. You would have to write down the email on paper. So the format layout of writing an email on paper, I will explain to you guys just now. Because when you are writing an email on paper, there are specific things that you have to write out in order for the marker to see that you have written an email as a response to any question that can be found in your paper 3. In this instance, wow, you asked me very good questions. In this instant, right, it's a writing genre, meaning you have to physically write it with a pen on a piece of paper. So we are basically just copying down how an email looks like and writing the message of an email. It's like basically just drawing a Gmail screen. That's a very good question, Lionheart. But I hope we all understand that for the purpose of the syllabus, you may be required to write down an email in an exam as opposed to sending it electronically. So it's basically email with inverted commas. Does that make sense? Well, usually they test you on things that you have been taught. So if your teacher teaches you how to write an email, right, on a piece of paper, that means that chances of you being tested on an email are greater. I hope that answered your question, Tyrese. Right. Okay, so let's quickly go on and look at the components that characterize an email. The first one, like I mentioned, is the recipient's address. The second one is the carbon copy. The third one is the subject. The fourth one, message. And the last one, the sender's name. Okay, so all of these 5 components make up an email that you can write down on paper. And I'm going to go through each component step by step so that you guys understand. Tino, I'm coming to CC. I'm coming to CC. Okay, right. Let's first start with the recipient's address. Okay, the recipient's address, which in most cases is the recipient's name and the server points, as well as the country in which the server is based. Okay, so when you are sending an email, there has to be someone you are sending the email to, right? And for that purpose, you would use the recipient's address. And the recipient's address, Tyrese, I will explain what CC is just now. Let's look at the recipient's address for now. Okay. So with the recipient's address, okay, you have to start with the recipient's name. I give you my email address all the time. So the example is langa.pearl. That's your recipient's name. Langa is my surname, .pearl is my name. Then the server at Gmail, I use a Gmail account for my emails. And then the country is .co.za. Doesn't make sense. But in order for you to have an email address, like the one written on the screen below, you would have to first sign up with Gmail in order to have an email address with Gmail. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So the recipient's address is the address of the person you are sending the email to, and that person has to have signed up with Gmail in order to receive an email address. Okay. The next one, the one that people have been asking me about this morning, it's the carbon copy. Okay. So CC is when you are sending someone an email, right? Let's say you're sending me an email, okay? But you want someone else to have a copy of the email that you have sent me. That's why it's called a carbon copy. Have you ever been to a store where they write you a receipt on a piece of paper or in a receipt book and they tear out the receipt for you? At the back of the receipt that has been torn out for you is a carbon copy. So, okay, I think you guys are a little young to understand what a carbon copy is. But a carbon copy in email terms means that if you are sending Ms. Langa an email, right? And you want someone else to see the email but to not have any comments, right? That is a carbon copy. Okay. So you are sending Ms. Langa an email and you want Ms. Matlala to see the email but not to say anything on the email, then that is a carbon copy. So for example, let's say you are sending your teacher an email, asking your teacher to give you notes on maths or science, right? And you want your parent to see that you have sent your teacher the email. You would CC your parents so that they can see the copy of the email. Okay. So CC recipients, okay, maybe the recipients whose attention is called to the email. These recipients could not be expected to do anything but note that some form of communication took place. So for example, a supervisor may CC copy the manager an emailed invitation to the meeting. This copy could come in handy when there are disputes. Right. So again, back to my teacher example. You are emailing your teacher, okay, your maths teacher, for example, asking them for notes, okay, because maybe you are writing a test in 2 months' time. And you CC your parents so that they can see that you have sent your teacher an email. If your teacher turns around and says that she didn't receive your email, your parent can always say, hey, I was CC'd on the email, so he did or she did send you an email. So this is when you want someone to like look over, like a guardian angel over your emails. Does it make sense? Does anyone else need me to clarify? No, 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 no. A carbon copy is applied when you are writing an email using your service provider. Okay, Zainab, I am going to show you just now that you can write out an email and CC people on the actual email when you are sending it. You can also CC people when you're writing an email on paper as well. And this gives the teacher an indication that you know exactly what goes in an email. And I will show you how you CC people in an email just now. Yeah, Lionheart, I would do that as well. I'm a parent and I would do that as well. Okay, right, everyone is good. Let's move on to the next one. Subject. Okay, like with our formal letters, an email has a subject. Okay, and the subject is a summary of the content of the email, right? Let's look at the picture on the slide. It says, the subject is the one that it has been circled in green. Important, colon, my email address is changing. So first of all, this person sending this email, right, has labeled it as important. So if I receive this email, I would know that this is important. And this goes in the subject. Remember, when you receive an email, you see the subject of the email before you actually open the email. So in this instance, the email is labeled important. My email address is changing. It's the same as any other subject written in any other formal letter. Only in this instance, you don't have to underline it. And a special section is given for you to write your subject. So if you had to write this on paper, you would have to make provision to write down your subject. And I will show you formats that you can write on paper. Okay. Let's move on to the message. Okay. So the message is basically the content of the email, right? And if you look at the picture on the screen as well, I have circled the message, right? And he says, hi, I value your relationship and I want us to continue to stay in touch. That is why I'm letting you know that this email address will no longer work after March 1st. Instead, you will need to reach me at my new email address, sallysampleperson@anytimecounseling.com. Please update my contact information in your files. I look forward to continuing our relationship. So basically, the message of the email or the message is the content of the email. You are giving detail as to what this email is about. Remember, in your subject line, you've given us a summary of what this email is about, right? But with the message, you are now going into specific detail. And you must remember that you have to put your work in the correct order according to the different topics that you are addressing in the message. So if you look at this one, for example, this message, for example, in the first paragraph, the first two sentences, he talks about how he values the working relationship. In the next paragraph, he talks about where they can reach him. Then in the next one, he talks about how they must update his information. Then in the last part of the message, he says, I look forward to continuing our relationship. So there is a clear division as to how this person has written and outlined the message. It's not all the information squashed in one paragraph. If it's going to be a new topic or if it's going to be something else addressing something different, then you would need different paragraphs or to skip a line. And I told you guys last week that you indent your work. Any questions at this point? No questions? Okay. Let's move on to the next one. The sender's name. Okay. So after your message, you would have the sender's name. All right. The sender's name, the sender's address reflects automatically when the email is received. Okay. The sender may choose to provide other contact details at the end. This is called a signature. Okay. So once you have written your email, you have to sign it off. And with an email, we usually use kind regards as a closing. So you would have kind regards, comma, then you would write down your name. So that is an example of my signature there on the screen. I have kind regards, comma, Pearl Nontlantlanga, Dal Park Secondary School is where I work, English home language educator is what I do. Then I get my email address again below that signature. And usually some people would give their numbers out again. So that if you want to contact them directly, you would have your number at the bottom of the screen as your signature. Does it make sense? Okay. Right. Let Loads of sense. Awesome. I'm happy. Right. Let's now move on to writing an email, physically writing it on a piece of paper. Okay. So let's pretend this is an exam. Your teacher has asked you to write an email address as part of your assessment. Okay? At the very top of your piece of paper or of your folio paper, responding to the question asked, you would have the recipient's email address. So it starts with 2 colon, then you would have the recipient's email address over there. Then immediately after that, you would have your carbon copy. So the people you want to see, okay, but not have any input in the email, okay? And your carbon copy are there, right underneath the person you are sending the email to. Immediately after that, you would have the subject. And remember, the subject is a short summary about what the email is about. And in this instance, our subject is over there, outstanding reports. Immediately after your subject, you rule off. You rule off immediately after your subject. Okay. You rule off, then immediately after the line that you've ruled, you write message, colon. Message, colon. Then you skip a line. Dear all, remember we always have to have a greeting. Okay? Then you start with your message. And the message in this email goes as follows. Dear all, you are reminded to submit all the outstanding reports by no later than Friday, 29 May 2010. A midterm report template will be sent to you hereafter to facilitate uniformity. You are advised to consult Mr. Fox Chocks if you encounter any problems with the template. Mr. Mayambela is congratulated for purchasing a new car, while Mrs. Brown is wished a fruitful journey on her study tour to Zimbabwe. Kind regards, Solumzi Yam. Okay. It's okay, Megan. The subject is not the heading. Okay, Lionheart, the subject is the subject. Megan, you don't need a doctor's note. I think Therese is playing around with you. Okay. So you would have your message. There it is. I just read it out to you. Then you would have your signature over there. If you are able to, I would ask you to please take a screenshot of this specific format so that you can use it in school when you go back later this year. I'm going to give you guys about 5 seconds to take a screenshot. Then I'm going to show you guys exactly how emails are written. Okay. Are you guys ready to see how you write an email using either Gmail or Yahoo? Are you guys ready? Okay, Tyrese is asking a question. He says, so only a body and conclusion and it's short. Remember, with an email, we are addressing pressing issues. It's important. It's quick, right? So you are not going to start off with a very elaborate introduction and then a body and then a conclusion. But you are going to address each topic, okay, that the email wants to address in different paragraphs. So if you look at the specific email, okay, in the first paragraph, they are reminding the staff members to submit their reports, outstanding reports. Then in the next paragraph, they are congratulating Mr. Mayambela for purchasing a car, and Mrs. Brown on her study tour to Zimbabwe. So these are two totally different topics in one email. And how you create this division is with paragraphs. So it's very, very short. Emails are usually very short. Okay. Are you guys ready to move away from writing an email to actually typing out an email? Okay, I see Tyrese is ready. Ready to be steady. Yes, 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 people are ready. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing the screen. Then I'm going to move on to my other screen. I'm going to share my other screen with you guys just now. And there we are. Right. Can everybody see this screen? Okay, people can see the screen. Right. Okay. So, with a normal email template, if you haven't sent an email before, this is how it looks like. So what you would have to do first is you would have to sign up with Gmail. Okay. Create an account with Gmail if your parents allow you, or create an account with Google rather, and Gmail will be automatically added onto your account. Okay. Once your account has been added, you will be able to send emails. And I know some people have Outlook. That is also a very good email platform. Okay. But for this purpose, for today, I'm going to be using Gmail to show you guys this example. Okay. So at the very top first line, right, you have recipients. Okay. 2, right? So let's say maybe I'm sending an email to Ms. Langa. So I will write the email address. Remember, it's the name first. So it's langa.pearl, the service provider at Gmail, and then the country. Well, it's universal. So I used com, right? So I'm sending an email to Pearl Langa. And let's say I want to CC someone. Okay. Let me CC Digi Lockdown School at gmail.com. So I have CC'd Digi Lockdown School. And how you CC someone is you click on CC at that very end there, then you write down the email address. So you can see we have Ms. Langa, we are sending an email to Ms. Langa. Then we have CC'd Digi Lockdown School, and we have the email addresses appearing on the screen. Can you all see? How do you send a PDF? Okay, I might help you with that in a few seconds. I'll show you, Megan. I'll show you how to attach and send a PDF. Okay, right. After that, you would deal with your subject. Okay, so there, let's say email lesson. Right, email lesson. There, that's my subject. So I have 2, and I'm sending it to Ms. Langa. I have CC, Digi Lockdown School, and my subject is email lesson, right? So all of those things are done. Then let's now start writing the letter. So it's Dear Ms. Langa. Remember, we have to greet first. I enjoyed the lesson today. I hope you enjoy teaching us as well. Please respond to my email. Let me fix respond there. And automatically, because I've set it, I already have my signature over there. And if you look at my message, the first 2 sentences are addressing a different topic. The second sentence is addressing another different topic. Then I have my kind regards, then my signature, right? Megan asked, how do we send a PDF? Okay, so Megan, If you are using Gmail, you would look at the bottom of the screen there. Can you see the bottom of the screen? Okay. At the bottom of the screen, you are given various options, right? You are given the send option, you are given the formatting option, and then the attach files option. You click on the attach files option, and then this will direct you to all of the files that you have on your computer. And that way you can attach your files and send an email. Does that make sense? You get it, Megan? Uh, Tyrese, yes, I'm emailing myself, but it's an example. Awesome. I'm glad you guys get that. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, and then I'm going to go back to our presentation. Right. So here we are, back to our presentation. So did you guys see that? Okay, I've taught you guys how to write an email address, and I've taught you guys how to type out an email address online. Do I have any questions at this point? Okay, no questions. Awesome. Let's move on to the next slide. Task time. So I want to challenge each and every one of you guys today. Okay, I need you guys to write an email to Miss Langa, to me, telling her about your grade 10 English First Additional Language class experience. Include all things that you enjoy about this class, if you have made friends, etc. And send your email to me at langa.pearl@gmail.com. Make sure that your email is between 180 to 200 words, and also make sure that the different paragraphs address different topics. Right? Please, I'm going to repeat the task. Write an email to me telling me about your grade 10 English First Additional Language class experience. Include all things you enjoy about the class, if you've made friends, etc. And send your email to me at langa.pearl@gmail.com. Make sure that your email is between 180 to 200 words. Who's going to do that? If you send me an email, I will give you a very big shout out tomorrow before the lesson starts. And I am going to read paragraphs from your email. So make sure you include amazing things about your classmates, what you enjoy, what you would like done, etc. So if you enjoy this lesson, if you want me to give you a shout out tomorrow, please make sure that you email me. It's okay if you can't do it, but if you've learned something from this lesson, I am more than happy. Right. Okay. Here's my email address again, one more time. Send me your emails at langa.pearl@gmail.com. That's langa.pearl@gmail.com. Remember, in this world of technology, electronic communication is fast replacing the traditional letter writing of the past. An electronic mail is posted from one computer to another, with the support of the internet. Do you guys have any questions at this point? I see people are not promising, but it's okay. I'll take that. Tyler Kush is raising his hand. Supreme is saying he'll try his best. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Thank you so much, boys and girls, for joining me in today's lesson. I know it was shorter than usual, but that's how emails are. They're pretty short and straight to the point. Please tune in again tomorrow. We will be doing another poem tomorrow, so you don't want to miss tomorrow's lesson. Thank you so much for joining in today. For more information, you can go to www.africateamgeeks.co.za or email me at langa.pearl@gmail.com. You can also follow me or us on social media rather at Africa Team Geeks. On Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at Pearlings or catch me on Facebook at Pearling Langa. Thank you so much, guys, for joining in today. I will see you guys tomorrow.